In second book of Samwel chapter 9, the story of David and Mephibosheth begins long before they ever met. This story starts with King Saul, Israel's first king, whose jealousy turned him into David's enemy. Yet, in the middle of that conflict, David and Saul's son Jonathan formed a covenant of deep friendship and loyalty. Years later, when both Saul and Jonathan had died, David remembered his promise. Instead of destroying Saul's remaining family, as most kings would do, he sought to show kindness. This is how David's path led to Mephibosheth, the forgotten, crippled son of Jonathan, whom David lifted from shame to honor, welcoming him to sit at the king's table. One day, David was in a battle and he defeated the other king. And after he became the king over Israel, he remembered his friend Jonathan, the son of King Saul, who died in the battle. And David remembered how Jonathan died. And David said, I made a promise to Jonathan that I would show his family kindness, that I would show his family loyal love. And David said, Is there anyone left from the house of Saul that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake? So they brought word back to David and said, Yeah, there's Jonathan's son Mephibosheth, but he's lame in both feet, he's disabled, and so he lives far away in a place called Lo-debar, which means a place of barrenness and shame. So David sent for Mephibosheth, and when Mephibosheth heard that the new king wanted to see him, he was afraid. Because in those days when a new king came into power, he would often kill the family of the old king just to make sure that there is nobody that could take the throne from him. So Mephibosheth thought, Oh wow, this new king heard that I'm disabled. And he wants to see me, he probably wants to kill me, so he was very afraid. But he went to see the king, and when he came before David, he bowed low to the ground, and David said, Do not be afraid, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you shall always eat at my table. So from that day on, Mephibosheth, though he was lame, was treated like one of the king's own sons. This is the story of David and Mephibosheth, and this is the meaning in life today. Number 1, it shows us that David didn't have to do anything for Mephibosheth. He wasn't obligated to help him. There was no political reason for David to do this. He did it because of loyalty, because of love, because of mercy. And so it shows us that true greatness is not in power, but it's in kindness to those who don't deserve it and to those who can't repay us. Number 2, it reminds us that like Mephibosheth, we are all broken in some way. We're weak, we're ashamed, we feel unworthy, but God looks at us and He sees His children. And He invites us to His table, not because of what we've done, but because of His covenant love. Number 3, it reminds us that God has a way of restoring our dignity. You see, Mephibosheth lived in a place called Lo-debar, which means a place of barrenness and shame. But when he came to the palace, he was no longer there but in the palace. And so it reminds us that no matter what we've been through, no matter how shameful our past, God can lift us from shame to honor as well as restore our dignity. Let's not judge people by their past or their weaknesses. Instead, let's see the worth that God gives them. It also shows us how David totally kept his promises, which is pretty awesome. He made a promise to Jonathan that he would show kindness to Jonathan's family. It didn't happen overnight. It took him years, but he totally kept his promise. That's what it's all about. Let's be known for our honesty, keeping our promises, and valuing our relationships. Because that builds trust and that reflects God's own faithfulness.